Good morning. I'd like to deposit this check, please. Curtis Harrison places the paper on the marble counter. $50,000. He's black. 42. His jeans are faded, patched at the knee. His polo shirt is wrinkled, sweat-stained. His sneakers are scuffed, soles worn thin. He looks like he walked here because he couldn't afford the bus. Victoria Ashworth stares at his skin, his clothes. A black man with a $50,000 check? She laughs. What did you do? Steal it? Forge it? Her voice rises. Security, get this creature out of my bank. He smells like a homeless shelter. Customers snicker. Phones rise, recording, live streaming. A woman in pearls pinches her nose. A man in a designer suit mutters, "These people have no shame." No one defends him. No one speaks. Curtis stands alone. A black man surrounded by white faces. Judged. Mocked. Humiliated. But not one person in that lobby could imagine what would happen next. In 24 hours, Victoria Ashworth will beg this man for mercy. 45 minutes earlier, 8:48 a.m. Charlotte, North Carolina. October morning. Crisp air, golden leaves drifting from oak trees. Curtis Harrison parks his 10-year-old Honda Civic in the Prestige National Bank lot. The paint is faded blue, chipped along the hood. The bumper has a dent from 6 years ago. He never bothered fixing it. The engine rattles when it idles, coughs when it starts. A Mercedes owner 2 spaces over glances at the car, then at Curtis stepping out. His lip curls with undisguised contempt. He looks away quickly, as if poverty might be contagious. Curtis smiles to himself. He chose this car. He chose these clothes. He chose to look like a man who counts pennies and skips meals. He wants to see how his bank treats people when no one important is watching. He stretches, rolls his shoulders, looks up at the building. Prestige National Bank, flagship branch. Marble columns rise 3 stories. Brass doors gleam in the morning light. Crystal chandeliers sparkle through floor-to-ceiling windows. The architecture screams old money, inherited wealth, generational power. His mother used to clean houses for people who banked here. "They look right through you, baby," she told him once, scrubbing her raw hands under cold water. "Like your furniture, like you're nothing, like you don't even have a name." She died when Curtis was 24. Breast cancer. Stage 4 by the time she saw a doctor. Couldn't afford to go earlier. Couldn't afford to miss work. Couldn't afford the tests, the treatments, the hope. She worked until her fingers bled and her back gave out. Never complained, never asked for help, never saw her son become a billionaire. Curtis carries a brown envelope today, crumpled, worn, the kind that costs 10 cents at the post office. Inside, a dividend check for $50,000. Quarterly payment from Harrison Holdings, his company, his creation, his empire built from nothing. Harrison Holdings owns Prestige National Bank. Every branch, every employee, every marble tile in this lobby, every crystal in those chandeliers. Curtis owns 52% of Harrison Holdings, which means Curtis owns this bank. But no one here knows that. No public photos exist, no interviews, no magazine covers, no social media presence. He built his fortune in cybersecurity, a world of shadows, silence, and anonymity. Today, he's just a black man in shabby clothes, a test subject in his own experiment. He pushes through the brass doors. Inside the lobby, Victoria Ashworth surveys her kingdom from behind glass walls. Her corner office overlooks the main floor like a watchtower. Mahogany desk, leather chair, framed awards covering every inch of wall space. 6 years as branch manager, 20 years climbing the corporate ladder, stepping on anyone who got in her way. She sips her morning latte, oat milk, no foam, exactly 140 degrees, and scans the room. Business suits, pearl necklaces, designer handbags, Rolex watches catching the light. Her kind of people. Then she sees him. A black man pushing through the brass doors, worn clothes, wrong car. She watched him park that embarrassment of a vehicle. Wrong posture, wrong everything. Her lip curls. Another one. She's handled people like him before. Check fraud, identity theft, sob stories about sick relatives and overdue bills, scammers targeting wealthy branches because they think rich people are easy marks. She always wins, always protects her bank, always sends them away with nothing. Her eyes narrow as Curtis approaches the counter. Something about him bothers her. His calm, his posture, the way he moves without hurrying, without apologizing for existing. He walks like he belongs here. He doesn't belong here. She stands, smooths her designer blazer, checks her reflection in the glass. Time to take out the trash. Check. At the counter. Emily Morgan, 26, new teller, nervous smile, greets Curtis warmly. Good morning, sir. How can I help you today? Genuine, friendly, the way customer service should be. Curtis slides the check across. $50,000. Harrison Holdings printed clearly in the corner. Emily's eyes widen. This is way above her approval limit. She glances toward Victoria's office. The glass door is already opening. Click, click, click. Victoria's designer heels strike marble like gunshots, like a countdown, like the drum beat before an execution. Emily's smile fades. She knows that walk, that look, the tone that's coming. She steps back before Victoria even arrives. Victoria doesn't acknowledge her, doesn't acknowledge Curtis as a human being. She picks up the check, studies it like evidence at a crime scene. I'll handle this, Emily. Not a request, a command. Emily retreats to the far end of the counter, relief and fear in equal measure. Victoria holds the check between two fingers, still hasn't looked Curtis in the eye. Victoria had already decided who Curtis was, and nothing would change her mind. Victoria finally looks at Curtis. She scans him head to toe. Slowly, deliberately, making sure he feels the weight of her judgment. Worn jeans with a patch on the knee, wrinkled polo shirt, faded from too many washes, no watch, not even a cheap one, no rings, no cufflinks, fingernails that haven't seen a manicure in years, if ever, scuffed sneakers that look one rainstorm away from falling apart. Her assessment is instant. Doesn't belong here. Never will. She holds the check between two fingers, like it's contaminated, like touching it too long might infect her. Sir. The word drips with contempt, a verbal slap disguised as politeness. A check of this amount requires verification. Where did you get this? Curtis keeps his voice calm, level, unshaken. It's a dividend payment. From Harrison Holdings. Victoria's perfectly sculpted eyebrow rises. A dividend? From Harrison Holdings? Yes. You're claiming you received dividends from one of our parent companies? I'm not claiming. I'm stating a fact. Victoria's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Cold, predatory. The smile of someone who's already decided the outcome. I'm sure you are. The condescension is thick enough to taste. Curtis reaches into his pocket, slowly. No sudden movements. He knows better than to startle people in positions of petty authority. He produces his driver's license, account statements printed that morning, tax documents, investment records, everything she could possibly need to verify his identity and the check's legitimacy. He slides them across the counter in a neat stack. Everything required for verification. I've deposited identical checks here for 3 years. Same amount, same source, same account. Victoria doesn't look at the documents, doesn't pick them up, doesn't acknowledge their existence. Her mind is made up, has been since he walked through those doors. These will need to be authenticated by our fraud department. Extended review, 10 business days, possibly longer. Curtis tilts his head slightly. That's not standard procedure for verified accounts with established history. Victoria stiffens. The muscles in her jaw tighten. She didn't check his account history, didn't verify anything, didn't follow a single protocol. But she can't back down now. Not in front of the lobby, not in front of Emily, not in front of the wealthy customers who are starting to watch. Backing down would mean admitting she was wrong, admitting she judged him unfairly, admitting her assumptions might be flawed. Victoria Ashworth doesn't admit mistakes, ever. Previous transactions don't guarantee current validity. Anyone can forge a pattern. Then verify it. I'll wait. His calm infuriates her. He should be nervous, apologetic, grateful for whatever scraps she decides to throw him. He's none of those things. Victoria's jaw tightens. Her fingers drum the counter in an impatient rhythm. She doesn't like being challenged, especially not by someone like him. She leans in, close enough for Curtis to smell her expensive perfume, close enough for her voice to carry to the nearby customers pretending not to listen. I decide the procedure here. I decide who belongs and who doesn't. Do you understand? Curtis doesn't blink, doesn't flinch, doesn't give her an inch. What exactly is your concern with this deposit? Victoria's voice rises. She's playing to the audience now, performing righteousness. My concern is protecting this institution from fraud, from criminals, from people who walk in off the street with checks they didn't earn. You haven't verified anything. You haven't even looked at my documentation. I don't need to. She straightens to her full height, looks down at him with undisguised disgust. I've dealt with people like you before. The words hang in the air like smoke. People like me? Curtis's voice is quiet, but it carries across the marble lobby. Victoria realizes what she said, the implication, the racism barely hidden beneath professional language. She doesn't apologize, doesn't backtrack, doesn't soften. She doubles down. You know exactly what I mean. Don't play dumb with me. Curtis is silent for a long moment. The lobby has gone quiet, every eye watching, every phone potentially recording. Finally, he speaks, soft, measured. Yes, I think I do. Victoria's lip curls into a triumphant smile. She's won. She always wins. She turns toward the security station. Derek, over here, now! Victoria thought she held all the power. She was about to learn the difference. Two security guards approach. Derek Coleman, black, 52, 15 years at the bank, father of 2, wife with chronic illness, medical bills that never stop coming. His face is troubled, conflicted. His eyes keep flicking to Curtis, then away, then back again. Paul Mercer, white, 31, eager for action. His hand hovers near his belt like he's expecting, hoping for trouble. He walks with the swagger of a man who's never been on the wrong end of authority. Victoria raises her voice, projects to the entire lobby, every word chosen for maximum impact. This gentleman presented what appears to be a fraudulent check, a $50,000 check. She pauses for effect. From someone who clearly doesn't have $50 to his name. Nervous laughter from a few customers. I'm detaining him until police arrive. Gasps ripple through the marble hall. Whispers multiply. More phones rise. The red recording lights blink like hungry eyes. Curtis speaks calmly. Fraudulent? Based on what evidence? The evidence of my own eyes. Look at yourself. I asked for evidence, not opinions. Victoria's smile tightens. Sir, I'm asking you One final time. Not to make this difficult. You're already in enough trouble. Derek steps forward, reluctant. Every step heavy with the weight of what he's being asked to do. Something in Curtis's eyes stops him. Not anger, not fear, just knowing, understanding. The quiet recognition of one black man looking at another, both trapped in a system that wasn't built for them. Derek has seen that look before, on his father's face when white store owners followed him through aisles, watching for theft that would never happen. In the mirror when he was passed over for promotion 3 times despite perfect evaluations. But Derek has a wife who needs medication that costs $400 a month. 2 kids who deserve college. Bills that don't care about dignity or justice. He can't afford to be a hero. Not today. Sir, if you could just come with... Curtis raises a hand. Calm. Non-threatening. I'll cooperate. But I want badge numbers, names, documentation of this entire interaction. His gaze locks onto Victoria. Especially yours. Victoria scoffs, waves her hand dismissively. You'll have plenty of time to file complaints. After the police sort you out. After they see what happens when people like you try to scam their betters. Curtis watches, calculating, recording everything in his mind, every face in the lobby, every smirk, every person who looked away, every phone pointed at his humiliation. Victoria picks up the check, holds it between 2 fingers like a dead insect, like something rotting. You know what I do with fraudulent checks at Prestige National? She reaches into her desk drawer. Her hand emerges holding a gold lighter. Elegant. Expensive. Engraved on the side. VA. Excellence in Service. 15 years. A gift from corporate. Her most prized possession. Curtis's eyes narrow. You're not serious. I'm always serious about protecting my bank from criminals. She flicks the lighter. The flame springs to life, orange and hungry. This is what happens to fraud at my branch. She touches the flame to the corner of the check. Paper curls, blackens. The numbers vanish one by one. $50,000, $40,000, $20,000, $0. $50,000 becomes smoke and ash. The lobby is absolutely silent. No one breathes. No one moves. 5 phones record every second, every flame, every floating ember. Victoria watches the check burn with naked satisfaction. Watches her victory consume itself. Watches the evidence of his fraud turn to nothing. She drops the burning remains onto the marble counter. Ash scatters across the polished surface. Gray flakes settle like dirty snow. She brushes her hands together. Elegant. Dismissive. Final. There. Problem solved. She looks at Curtis, expecting tears, expecting rage, expecting him to crumble like the ash on her counter. She sees neither. His eyes are calm, almost amused. A tiny smile plays at the corner of his mouth. That throws her. Badly. Curtis looks at the ashes, then at Victoria. His voice is soft, but it fills the room, reaches every corner, every ear. You just ended your career. Victoria laughs, forced, too loud, too sharp. Is that a threat? Everyone heard that. He just threatened me. Curtis shakes his head slowly, patiently, like a teacher correcting a child. Not a threat, a fact. There's a difference. Derek, Paul, get him out of my bank. Now! Paul grabs Curtis's arm, too rough, too eager, fingers digging into flesh. Derek intervenes. Easy, Paul. Easy. He guides Curtis more gently toward the door. The lobby watches, some satisfied, some uncomfortable, most just relieved it isn't them. At the glass doors, Curtis stops, turns. He looks at Derek first, holds his gaze for a long moment. Then at Emily, frozen behind her counter, tears in her eyes. Then at Victoria, triumphant in her kingdom of marble and brass. Check your email tomorrow morning. All of you. He adjusts his wrinkled polo, smooths a crease that will never smooth out, walks into the October sunlight. The glass doors close behind him. Victoria turns to her audience, big smile, arms spread magnanimously. I apologize for the disruption. Prestige National takes security very seriously. Your money and your safety are my top priorities. Some customers nod, most avoid eye contact. Derek stares at the ashes on the counter. His hands are shaking. Something is very wrong. He just doesn't know what yet. Victoria returns to her glass office, triumphant, untouchable. She doesn't notice Emily's phone, still recording, pointed at her desk. Have you ever been judged before you even opened your mouth? Drop A if you know that satisfying moment is coming, because she has no idea what she just did. Victoria had never felt more powerful. In 18 hours, she would have nothing. Curtis sits in his Honda Civic, parking lot, alone. The engine ticks as it cools. Autumn leaves drift across the windshield. For 30 seconds, he doesn't move, doesn't breathe, just stares at the steering wheel, at his hands resting there, steady as stone. Then his jaw tightens. A muscle twitches near his temple. He's not angry about the money. $50,000 is pocket change when you're worth $4.2 billion. He loses more than that in stock fluctuations before breakfast. He's angry because this happens every day. Every single day, in every city, in every bank and store and restaurant and hospital, people who look like him are treated like criminals, like suspects, like they don't deserve basic human dignity. People who can't fight back, who don't own banks, who don't have lawyers on retainer and board members on speed dial. People who walk away humiliated and broken, with no recourse, no justice, no voice, just the memory of being looked through, looked down upon, looked at like they're nothing. People like his mother. She never told him how many times she was insulted, how many times rich white women counted the silverware after she left, how many times store clerks followed her through aisles, how many times she was asked for ID when writing a check, while white customers ahead of her weren't asked at all. She just kept working, kept smiling, kept believing things would get better. "It'll be different for you, baby," she used to say, rubbing lotion into her cracked hands. "You're gonna be somebody. You're gonna make them see." Things got better. Unimaginably better. But she never saw it. Curtis pulls out his phone. Not a regular smartphone. Encrypted, custom-built, designed by engineers who now consult for the Pentagon. He has one number on speed dial. Eleanor Vance, chairwoman of Prestige National's board of directors. She answers on the second ring. "Curtis? This is unexpected." "Eleanor, we have a situation at the Charlotte flagship." His voice is calm, precise, every word measured and deliberate. He explains what happened, the confrontation, the accusations, the racial slurs barely disguised as professionalism, the burning check. Eleanor is silent for a long moment. He can hear her breathing change. "She burned your check? Your own dividend? From your own company? On camera?" "Multiple phones recording. I counted 5. Probably more." Jesus Christ. Eleanor Vance never curses. Not in 30 years of corporate warfare. Not when competitors tried hostile takeovers. Not when the market crashed. Not when her husband died. She curses now. "What do you want to do?" Curtis stares at the bank building through his windshield. Marble columns, brass doors. The kingdom Victoria thinks she rules. "I want a full investigation. HR, legal, compliance. Every complaint ever filed against her. Every incident involving minority customers at that branch, every email, every record. Curtis, you could fire her with one email, one phone call, right now, this instant. That's too easy. Silence. Too easy? I want documentation. I want a board meeting. I want her to sit in a room and find out exactly who she did this to. Eleanor understands. You want her to see your face when she realizes. I want her to understand that what she did has consequences. Not just for me. For every person she's ever treated this way. Every complaint she buried. Every customer she humiliated. When? Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Have the board assembled. I'll make the calls. Eleanor hangs up, immediately dials 3 numbers. Legal, HR, corporate security. Within 30 minutes, Victoria Ashworth's entire employment history is being pulled from servers across 3 states. Every email she's ever sent, every complaint filed against her, every incident report, every disciplinary warning. The results land on Eleanor's desk by 4 p.m. They're worse than she imagined. 18 formal complaints in 6 years, all from minority customers, all marked resolved internally. None escalated, none investigated properly. Pattern: aggressive confrontation, accusations of fraud without verification, dismissive language, racial undertones documented in 7 complaints. Victoria Ashworth has done this before, many times, to many people. She's just never done it to the owner. Meanwhile, the lobby video hits social media. Someone posted it within minutes of Curtis walking out. By noon, 500,000 views. By 3 p.m., 1 million. By evening, 3 million and climbing. Hashtag burned check manager trends nationally. Victoria's face is everywhere, unblurred, unmistakable, inescapable. Comments explode like wildfire. Fire her immediately. This is what racism looks like in 2024. Someone find out where she works? Oh wait, not for long? That poor man, how humiliating. My heart breaks for him. She looks so proud burning his check. Disgusting. Victoria hasn't checked her phone. She's celebrating with wine at home, telling her husband about handling a situation at work, feeling proud of her decisiveness, her authority. She has no idea. No idea that lawyers are preparing documents. No idea that board members are clearing tomorrow's schedule. No idea that her entire life is 18 hours from complete collapse. The video was everywhere. Victoria was about to have the worst morning of her life. 6:48 a.m. Next morning. Victoria Ashworth's phone won't stop buzzing, vibrating against the nightstand like something alive. Angry. Insistent. She ignores it. Pulls the silk pillow over her head. Probably work. Probably Emily needing her hand held through some simple transaction. The buzzing continues. Again, again, again. A swarm of invisible hornets. Her husband groans beside her. For God's sake, Victoria, answer the damn thing. She finally looks. 147 missed calls, 89 voicemails, 2,000 plus notifications. Her stomach drops through the floor. She opens Twitter, searches her name with trembling fingers. #burned check manager. Her face fills the screen. The lighter in her hand. The flame touching paper. The ashes scattering. The satisfaction in her smile. 6 million views now, and climbing every second. Comments flood like sewage. This racist bitch needs to be fired and arrested. She burned his check because he's black. Period. That's the whole story. Someone find her address. She needs to hear from us directly. Karen of the Year goes to... I hope she loses everything. Victoria's hands shake so badly she drops the phone. Coffee from yesterday's cup spills across her white Egyptian cotton sheets. Her husband Richard appears in the doorway. His face is gray, jaw tight. He's already dressed, already planning his escape. Victoria, what the hell did you do? It's a misunderstanding. He was suspicious. I was protecting the bank. Anyone would have... You burned a man's check, on camera, while calling him a creature. His voice is ice. My partners have been calling since 5 a.m. My firm has black clients, Victoria. Important ones. She opens her mouth to respond. Her phone rings. Cuts her off. Caller ID, Prestige National. Corporate. Her hand shakes as she answers. Ms. Ashworth? The voice is cold, professional, final. You're required at headquarters, 9 a.m., boardroom. Don't be late. Click. Dead air. She stares at the phone. Richard shakes his head, grabs his overnight bag from the closet. I'm going to my mother's. Don't call me. The bedroom door closes behind him. Victoria sits alone, surrounded by Egyptian cotton and silk pillows and designer furniture. It all feels like cardboard now. Across town, Curtis reviews files in Angela Brooks's office. Angela, 45, former federal prosecutor, now the most feared private attorney in Charlotte, spreads documents across her mahogany desk like a general planning an invasion. 18 complaints, 6 years, all minority customers, all buried in internal review. She taps a thick folder. 3 were serious enough to warrant termination. They were marked counseling completed and filed away. Curtis flips through pages, photographs, statements, emails. Any civil exposure? 3 families have already called since the video went viral. The Henderson family, Dr. Patterson, young Terrence Reed's mother. They're ready to sue, ready to testify, ready to finally be heard. Curtis nods slowly. Support them, quietly, whatever legal fees they need. Angela raises an eyebrow. You want to fund lawsuits against your own bank? I want to fund justice. The bank will survive. The bank will be stronger for it. Her career won't be either. Angela slides another folder across. Thick, heavy, damning. The board packet. Everything she's done. Every complaint. Every victim. It's comprehensive. Curtis reads. His jaw tightens with each page. Gloria Henderson, 72. Came in to deposit a $500 birthday check from her grandson. Victoria called her a welfare queen trying to game the system. Threatened to call police. Dr. Samuel Patterson, board-certified surgeon, 20 years of practice. Victoria accused him of stealing a referral bonus check from a patient. Had him escorted out by security. Terrence Reed, 19, first-generation college student. Tried to open a student account with his summer job savings. Victoria called security because he looked like trouble waiting to happen. 18 people, 6 years, all black, all humiliated, all dismissed, all silenced. Curtis closes the folder. 9 a.m. The board is fully assembled. Eleanor will lead the proceedings. You enter when she signals. Good. He stands, walks to the floor-to-ceiling window. Charlotte spreads below. Gleaming towers and busy streets and millions of people going about their lives. Angela watches him. Curtis, how do you want this to end? He's quiet for a moment. His reflection stares back from the glass. I want her to know who I am. I want her to understand what she did, and I want her to lose everything she thought made her powerful. That's specific. She burned my mother's face into that counter. His voice is soft but sharp. Every person she dismissed. Every person like me she humiliated. She burned them all. He turns from the window. 9 a.m. In 90 minutes, Victoria would walk into a room expecting a reprimand. She'd walk out with nothing. 8:55 a.m. Corporate headquarters, 45th floor. Victoria Ashworth exits the elevator. She's dressed immaculately. Navy Chanel suit, pearl earrings, 3 carats each. Perfect makeup hiding the dark circles and the sleepless terror beneath. Armor. Every piece of it. She's rehearsed her defense the entire drive here. Muttered it through traffic. Refined it in the parking garage. Practiced her facial expressions in the elevator mirror. The customer was suspicious. His behavior was erratic. The check was clearly fraudulent. I was protecting the bank. Protecting our customers. Protecting our reputation. Any manager would have done the same. The video is misleading. Taken out of context. I'm the victim here. Of a setup. Of social media mob justice. She almost believes it. The boardroom doors loom ahead. Dark mahogany. Brass handles worn smooth by decades of powerful hands. 20 feet tall. Intimidating by design. These are doors that announce, important decisions happen here. Important people sit here. You are neither. Victoria straightens her spine. Lifts her chin. She pushes through. The boardroom is larger than her entire apartment. Long conference table, imported Italian marble, seats 20. 12 leather chairs occupied. Crystal water glasses catching light from a chandelier that cost more than most houses. Eleanor Vance sits at the head. 62 years old. Silver hair. Reading glasses perched on her nose. Face completely unreadable. Victoria recognizes the others. Legal counsel, HR director, chief compliance officer, regional VP, risk management, outside counsel. That's new. That's concerning. All staring at her. No one says good morning. No one stands. No one offers coffee or water or a polite greeting. One chair is empty, directly across from where she's clearly expected to sit. Victoria takes her place, smooths her skirt, straightens her spine, projects confidence she doesn't feel. I understand there are concerns about yesterday's incident. I want to assure this board that I was acting in the bank's best interest. Eleanor raises a hand. Eleanor. Palm out. Stop. Ms. Ashworth. We're waiting for one more participant. Victoria frowns. Her prepared speech dies in her throat. Who? This is an internal matter. I wasn't informed. You'll see. Silence falls. Heavy. Suffocating. The clock on the wall ticks, each second like a hammer blow. Victoria's heart pounds so loudly she's certain everyone can hear it. Sweat forms along her hairline. She resists the urge to wipe it away. The door opens behind her. Victoria doesn't turn. Can't turn. Forces herself to stare straight ahead, hands folded, back straight. Show no weakness. Never show weakness. Footsteps enter. Calm, measured, unhurried. Someone walks past her peripheral vision. A glimpse of faded jeans, a wrinkled polo shirt, scuffed sneakers. No, that's not possible. The man takes the empty seat, directly across from her. 3 feet of Italian marble between them. Victoria looks up. Her blood turns to ice water. The man from the bank. Same worn clothes, same scuffed shoes, same calm eyes that watched his $50,000 burn without flinching. He's here, in the boardroom, sitting at the table like he owns the place. Victoria's mouth opens, closes, opens again. What? This is a private corporate meeting? Curtis doesn't speak, doesn't smile, doesn't react. He just watches her. The way a cat watches a mouse it's already decided to eat. Eleanor clears her throat. Victoria spins toward her, frantic now, mask cracking. What is he doing here? This is the man who... I was protecting the bank from... Ms. Ashworth. Eleanor's voice cuts like surgical steel. Victoria stops. The room is silent. 12 people barely breathing. Eleanor removes her reading glasses, sets them on the table with a soft click. Allow me to introduce Curtis Dean Harrison. Victoria blinks. Founder and CEO of Harrison Holdings. Victoria's face goes pale. Majority shareholder of Prestige National Bank. paler still. "Controlling owner of this institution," white as the marble beneath her trembling hands. "The man whose check you burned on camera yesterday is the man who signs, or doesn't sign, every paycheck in this building." Absolute silence. Victoria stares at Curtis. Curtis stares back, still calm, still waiting, still holding every card in a game she didn't know she was playing. Victoria had burned the check of the man who owned everything, including her entire career. Victoria's voice is barely a whisper. "I didn't know." Curtis speaks for the first time since entering the room. "No, you didn't. You assumed." The way you were dressed, you didn't look..." "Didn't look like what, Victoria?" She can't finish the sentence. "Didn't look like someone who belonged? Didn't look like someone who deserved respect? Didn't look like someone who could possibly have money?" Curtis leans forward. His voice is soft, but it fills the room. "Say it. You've said it before. People like me." "What does that mean?" Victoria's mouth moves. No words come. "I know what it means. My mother knew. Every person in those 18 complaint files knows." Victoria blinks. 18? Eleanor slides a thick folder across the table. Victoria opens it with shaking hands. Her own history. Every incident. Every complaint. Every person she dismissed, humiliated, destroyed. Names she'd forgotten. Faces she never bothered to remember. Curtis watches her read. Gloria Henderson, 72 years old. Walked into the bank to deposit a $500 birthday check from her grandson. Victoria called her a welfare queen and threatened to call police. Dr. Samuel Patterson, board-certified surgeon, 20 years of practice. Victoria accused him of stealing a referral bonus check from a patient, had him escorted out by security. Terrence Reed, 19, first in his family to attend college, tried to open a student account. Victoria called security because he looked suspicious. 18 people, 6 years, all black, all humiliated, all dismissed. Victoria's hands shake so badly the pages rattle. Curtis's voice is steady. "You didn't just do this to me. You did it to everyone who looked like me. I was following procedure. There's no procedure that says, burn checks from black customers. I thought you were... you thought I was a criminal because of how I looked. You didn't verify. You didn't check my account history. You didn't follow a single protocol." He stands, walks slowly around the table. "You just decided, based on my skin, my clothes, your assumptions." He stops directly behind her chair. Victoria doesn't turn, can't turn. "Please," her voice cracks. "I've given 20 years to this bank, and in those 20 years, how many people did you treat like they were nothing?" Silence. "How many checks did you refuse? How many customers did you humiliate? How many people walked out of your branch feeling like they didn't deserve to exist?" Victoria has no answer. "Check." Eleanor speaks. "Ms. Ashworth, based on the evidence presented, video footage, customer complaints, testimony from branch staff, and violation of multiple banking protocols, you are terminated effective immediately." Victoria spins. "You can't. Your severance is forfeited due to gross misconduct. Your pension is under review." "No. Legal will advise you on pending civil liability. 3 families have already retained attorneys." Victoria is hyperventilating now. The room spins. Additionally, the video has been submitted to local law enforcement. Destruction of a valid financial instrument may constitute criminal fraud. "Criminal?" "You burned a $50,000 check, Ms. Ashworth. That's not a misunderstanding. That's a felony." Victoria turns to Curtis, desperate, grasping. "Please, I didn't know who you were. I made a mistake." Curtis is quiet for a long moment. "You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice, 18 times, maybe more. He walks toward the door, pauses at the threshold. I'm not firing you because you burned my check. I'm firing you because of what you did to everyone before me. He turns, meets her eyes one final time. The only reason you're learning this lesson is because you finally did it to someone who could fight back. Think about that. He leaves. The door clicks shut. Victoria sits alone with the board, with her history, with the ashes of her career. Eleanor stands. Security will escort you out. Please surrender your badge, company devices, and parking pass. Victoria doesn't move. She's staring at the folder. The names, the faces. For the first time in 20 years, she sees them. Too late. 9:52 a.m. Victoria Ashworth is escorted through the lobby she once ruled. The same marble floors, the same brass fixtures, the same employees she commanded for 6 years. Now they watch. Some smirk. Some look away. Some record on their phones. Her badge is taken. Her keys. Her company phone. She walks through the front doors. Cameras flash. Reporters swarm. Ms. Ashworth, any comment? Do you regret what you did? Are you a racist? Victoria pushes through, gets to her car, sits behind the wheel. She can't drive. She can't stop shaking. She burned a man's check because he didn't look rich enough. He owned the whole bank, and now she has nothing. Did you see her face? Smash that subscribe button if that satisfying moment just made your whole day, because her downfall is just getting started. Victoria's career was ashes, just like that check. But the destruction was only beginning. The story explodes. Every network, every platform, every headline. CNN, bank manager fired after burning customer's check. Customer was bank's owner. Fox, viral video controversy. Did this manager go too far? MSNBC, pattern of discrimination. 18 complaints exposed at major bank. The video hits 20 million views, 30 million, 50. Victoria Ashworth's face becomes a meme, a symbol, a punchline. Karen of the Year trends on Twitter for 3 consecutive days. Late-night hosts make her the opening joke. So this bank manager burned a customer's check because he looked poor. Turns out he owns the bank. That's like me insulting the coffee guy and finding out he's married to the network president. Laughter, applause, always at her expense. Victoria's home. 3 days later. The curtains are closed. The lights are off. The silence is suffocating. Her husband moved to his mother's house, took the dog, left a note. I can't be associated with this. My firm has black clients. Don't contact me. Her daughter won't return calls, stopped answering texts 2 days ago. Her friends have gone silent. Group chats she's been part of for years. Suddenly, no one responds to her messages. She's been erased. She checks her phone. Another wave of death threats, hate mail, strangers telling her to kill herself. Someone found her address, posted it online with her photo. There's a crowd outside sometimes, protesters with signs, "Racist, go home." Burn her career like she burned his check. Karma is real. Victoria hasn't eaten in 2 days, hasn't showered, hasn't changed clothes. She just sits, staring at the wall, watching the same video over and over, watching herself burn that check, watching her own smile. She didn't even see him as human, just a threat, just a problem, just someone who didn't belong. Her phone buzzes, attorney's office. Ms. Ashworth, the Henderson family has filed suit, so has Dr. Patterson. We're expecting at least 2 more by end of week. Victoria hangs up, pours another glass of wine. Her third bottle this week. The silence swallows her. Ugh. Across town, Curtis sits in Ruby's coffee house. Black-owned, community hub. Best coffee in Charlotte, according to Curtis, though Ruby says he just likes the price. Ruby Davis, 68, gray braids, warm eyes, brings him his usual. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. Saw you on the news. Yeah. You did right, baby. She sets the cup down. Made your mama proud. Curtis smiles, small, sad. I hope so. He looks out the window. Charlotte moves by, people walking, cars honking, life continuing. His phone buzzes. Angela. 3 more families contacted us. Pattern worse than we thought. 18 confirmed victims now considering action. Curtis replies, support them all, whatever they need. He drinks his coffee. He doesn't feel triumph, not really. He feels tired. Tired of a world where this keeps happening, where black men in worn clothes are assumed to be criminals, where dignity costs money most people don't have. But today, at least, there was accountability. Today, someone faced consequences. It's not everything, but it's something. Victoria's public life was over, but the legal system wasn't done with her yet. 3 months later, civil court, Charlotte. Victoria Ashworth sits at the defendant's table. She's lost 30 pounds. Her hair is graying at the roots. No money for salon visits anymore. Her eyes are hollow, rimmed with dark circles. She looks like a ghost of the woman who burned that check. Across the courtroom, attorneys representing the Henderson family. Gloria Henderson, 72 years old, takes the witness stand. The grandmother Victoria called a welfare queen. Gloria's voice is steady. Her hands don't shake. She's waited years for this moment. I've been banking at that branch for 31 years. 31 years of deposits, withdrawals, loans paid on time. Never missed a payment in my life. The attorney nods. And what happened on March 15th, 2021? I walked in to deposit a birthday check from my grandson. $500. His first paycheck from his first job. He wanted me to have it. Gloria pauses, looks directly at Victoria. That woman looked at me like I was garbage, called me a welfare queen, said people like me were always trying to scam the system, threatened to call police if I didn't leave immediately. How did that make you feel, Mrs. Henderson? Gloria's voice cracks, just slightly. Like I was nothing. Like 60 years of being a good citizen didn't matter. Like my black skin was all she could see. Victoria stares at the table, can't meet Gloria's eyes. I didn't sleep right for weeks after that. Started second-guessing myself everywhere I went. Am I dressed right? Will they think I'm a thief? Will they call security? She straightens. I'm 72 years old. I've earned my dignity. And that woman tried to take it from me. 5 more witnesses testify over 2 days. Dr. Samuel Patterson, Terrence Reed, others whose names were buried in files for years. Same pattern, same dehumanization, same woman. Victoria's attorney attempts a defense. My client was following security protocols. The judge interrupts. Sharp. The evidence shows no protocols were followed. The evidence shows a pattern of targeted discrimination based on race. Continue. Victoria's attorney has nothing left. Checked. The verdict. Jury deliberation, 48 minutes. The fastest civil verdict in Charlotte County in a decade. Verdict, liable. Damages, $2.1 million, compensatory and punitive. Victoria has no way to pay. Her house will be sold. Her savings liquidated. Her retirement wiped out. She stands when the verdict is read. Her legs barely hold her. She doesn't cry. She's past crying. Gloria Henderson looks at her from across the courtroom. No triumph in the old woman's eyes. Just exhaustion. Just relief that someone finally believed her. Outside, reporters swarm Gloria. I didn't want money, she says. I wanted her to understand what she did. I don't know if she ever will. Victoria slips out the side door. No comment, no defense, nothing left to say. 1 week later, Victoria is arrested. The charges: destruction of a financial instrument, filing a false police report, fraud. The check she burned was valid. She knew it was valid. She burned it anyway. She told police Curtis was aggressive and threatening. The videos prove otherwise. She's released on bail she can't afford. Her mother pays, uses her retirement savings. Trial date, next month. Maximum sentence, 3 years. Her attorney recommends a plea deal. Victoria refuses. I didn't do anything wrong, but she did, and the whole world watched. Victoria's legal battles were ending. Her old life was gone forever. 6 months later. Victoria Ashworth pleads guilty to reduced charges. No jail time. 500 hours of community service, 3 years probation. She sells her house to pay legal fees, gets 40% of what it was worth. Desperate sale, no leverage. She moves into a small apartment, her mother's side of town. Thin walls, noisy neighbors. A far cry from the gated community she once called home. Her husband's divorce was finalized last month. He got the vacation house, the investment accounts, the good car. She got the shame. Victoria works at a grocery store now, bagging, minimum wage. Name tag that says Vicky, because Victoria felt too formal. 7 a.m. shifts, fluorescent lights, beeping scanners, the smell of cleaning solution and processed food. She's the oldest bagger by 20 years. The teenagers pity her. The managers avoid her. Everyone knows who she is. The video resurfaces every few months. Someone always recognizes her. Hey, aren't you that lady who burned the check? She's learned not to respond. Tuesday morning, slow shift. An older black woman comes through Victoria's line. Gray hair, simple dress. Wedding ring worn thin from decades of wear. Victoria bags her groceries carefully. Bread separate from cans. Eggs on top, just like she was trained. Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day. The woman looks at her. Really looks. Recognition flickers in her eyes. She knows. For a moment, neither speaks. Then the woman takes her bags and leaves. Doesn't say a word. Doesn't need to. Victoria watches her go. She thinks about Gloria Henderson, about Dr. Patterson, about Terrence Reed, about the 18 names in that folder, about Curtis. She feels shame, real shame, not the embarrassment of getting caught, not the humiliation of public downfall, real shame, the kind that lives in your chest, that wakes you at 3 a.m., that never fully goes away. It's too late to fix anything, but she finally understands what she did. Across town, Prestige National Bank announces sweeping reforms. $30 million community investment fund for underserved neighborhoods. Independent Oversight Committee for Discrimination Complaints. No more internal burial. Mandatory bias training for all staff at every level. Third-party audits quarterly. Whistleblower protections with financial incentives. Curtis doesn't take credit publicly. No press conferences, no interviews. He doesn't need the spotlight. He needs the change. The Charlotte flagship branch has a new manager, Keisha Reynolds, 36, black, former bank examiner, zero tolerance for discrimination. Derek Coleman is promoted to head of branch security. His first act, mandatory de-escalation training for all guards. Emily Morgan receives a commendation and a significant raise. She speaks at the bank's new diversity training sessions. The branch's rating with minority customers improves 48% in 6 months. A customer walks into the Charlotte flagship. Older black man, worn clothes, work boots caked with mud, large check clutched in calloused hands. He approaches the counter nervously, expecting judgment. expecting dismissal. Keisha greets him personally. "Good morning, sir. How can I help you today?" She processes his deposit. No questions, no hesitation, no suspicion. "Is there anything else I can help with?" The man smiles, small, surprised. "First time I've ever felt welcome in a bank." Keisha returns the smile. "It won't be the last." He leaves, head a little higher than when he came in. The lobby continues. Normal, respectful, equal. The cycle breaks, one interaction at a time. The bank had changed. Victoria had lost everything. But Curtis had one final truth to speak. 1 year later. Curtis sits in Ruby's coffee house. Same seat by the window. Same black coffee. Same worn jeans and simple polo. Ruby sits across from him. Rare for her to take a break. But some conversations matter. "You ever think about her?" Curtis looks up. "Who?" "The woman. The one who burned your check." He considers the question, stares into his coffee. "Sometimes." "You hate her?" "No." Ruby raises an eyebrow. "Most people would. Hate takes too much energy, and she's already lost everything that mattered to her." "Some people would say she deserved worse." Curtis sets down his cup. "Some people would, but destroying someone completely, bassa, that's not justice. That's just revenge wearing justice's clothes." Ruby nods slowly. "Your mama raised you right. She tried." They sit in comfortable silence. Morning light streams through the window. The smell of fresh coffee fills the air. Curtis looks outside. Charlotte moves by. Same city, same people, same problems. But maybe, just maybe, a little better than before. A reporter asked Curtis once, 6 months after the incident, "Why didn't you reveal who you were immediately? You could have stopped her." His answer was simple. "Because I wanted to see how they treated people when they didn't think anyone important was watching." "And what did you learn?" Curtis looked directly into the camera. "That the way you treat people who can't hurt you reveals who you really are." The quote went viral. It's printed on posters now, shared millions of times, painted on murals, referenced in speeches. Curtis doesn't care about that. He cares about the 19-year-old black kid who can now open a student account without being treated like a criminal. He cares about the grandmother who can deposit a birthday check without being called a welfare queen. He cares about a world that's slightly better than the one he found. That's enough. Evening. Curtis's apartment. Simple. Modest. Books everywhere. Philosophy, history, economics. A worn couch. A small kitchen. Same apartment he had before the billions. He never saw a reason to move. One photo on his desk. Framed, treasured. His mother, smiling, young, full of life. She's wearing her cleaning uniform, the one she wore every day for 23 years, scrubbing floors for people who never learned her name. Curtis picks up the frame, runs his thumb across the glass. "I hope I made you proud, Mama." He looks out the window. Charlotte's skyline glitters in the darkness. The Prestige National Building glows in the distance. His name isn't on it. He doesn't need it to be. He owns it anyway. The check is gone. Burned to ash on a marble counter by a woman who saw his skin and decided he was worthless. But what he built with that moment, the reforms, the accountability, the change, that lasts. His mother used to say, "They look right through you, baby." Not anymore. Now they see. People ask me why I didn't destroy her completely. Why I let the courts handle it. Why I didn't use my power to crush her into dust. The answer is simple. I've seen what unchecked power does to people. It's what made her burn that check in the first place. Power isn't about what you can destroy. It's about what you choose not to. She judged me by my clothes, my skin, my car. She's not the first, won't be the last. But I didn't become a billionaire to burn people who hurt me. I became one to build things that outlast all of us. She burned my check. I built a future. That's the difference between us. Never judge a book by its cover, because that book might own the whole library. This story was about one check, one moment, one assumption. Victoria Ashworth saw a black man in worn clothes and decided he didn't belong in her bank. She was wrong. But here's the thing. This happens every day. To people who don't own banks, who don't have lawyers, who don't have billions to fight back. The difference is, those stories don't go viral. Those victims don't get justice. Those villains don't face consequences. They just keep working, keep climbing, keep looking down at everyone they think is beneath them, until one day they mess with the wrong person. So the next time you judge someone by how they look, remember Curtis, remember the check. Remember that you never know who you're dealing with. The person you dismiss might own the building you're standing in. The person you insult might sign your paycheck. The person you look right through might be the one person who could change your life or end your career. Was that satisfying enough? Comment below what you would have done with Curtis's power. Would you have destroyed her completely or done what he did? Subscribe so you don't miss the next satisfying story. Because karma is real, and sometimes karma owns the whole damn bank. Next time, a waitress spills coffee on a billionaire's $10,000 suit. He screams, he threatens, he demands she be fired on the spot. "Do you know who I am?" he roars. "I'll have this restaurant shut down. I'll have you arrested." The waitress doesn't apologize. She doesn't cry. She doesn't beg for her job. She just smiles. Because she's not really a waitress. She's an undercover FBI agent. And he's been her target for 3 years. Subscribe now. You don't want to miss it.